Hello. In this video, I'm going to show you how I like to study with flashcards. So first, let me show you my equipment. So I've got these index cards. They're these 5 different colors. They're from this larger pack, which I cut in half, which I explained in the last video. And this is what I actually write my vocabulary on. Then I've got this little box labeled Wednesday in French. I've got this little box labeled Saturday in French. I've got this much larger box labeled the first day of the month. I've got this large box with no label, a pen, and a rubber band. Okay, so today is Saturday, so let me show you what I actually do on Saturdays to study for French. In my Saturday box, I've got a bunch of flashcards that I made earlier, either this week or in a previous week. And I'm going to go through them now. And what I do is I actually put them into 4 different piles. Ones that I have questions about, ones that I don't know, ones that I kind of know, and ones that, yes, I know. All right. So I shuffle the cards because I don't want to memorize them in any particular order. I want my brain to like solve the puzzle. And then the most important thing is I only look at the English side of the card. Well, I look at the side of the card that's my first language, and I test myself into French. So you would look at your side of the card that's your first language, and then you test yourself into English, the language you're studying. So I look at the first one, TV show. I watch science fiction TV shows. La série, je regarde des séries de la science-fiction. God. La série, je regarde des séries de la science-fiction. I got it. Yay. So I'm going to put that in the yes pile because I understood it totally. Oh dear, this one's going to be a little harder. It's a whole list. Here, I'll show you here. It's a whole list of different fruits. And this is probably an example of a bad flashcard because I don't actually think I'll be able to remember everything on the card. So this is too long. I might need to rewrite this card, but here we go. And also, why is tomato a fruit? But oh well, fruits. La tomate, la banane, la pêche, l'orange, la pomme, la framboise, la fraise. When we get down to watermelon, oh, it's like la pastèque, I think. And grape is le raisin. Raisin. Le raisin. It's very hard to pronounce in French. Okay. Oh my gosh, I got watermelon right. That was the one I wasn't sure about. La pastèque and then le raisin. Okay, so I actually did get it correct, but I wasn't 100% sure. So I'm going to put that under the maybe pile because it's one that I need to see sooner rather than later. So let's take a look at another one. To tell, he tells a story. So to tell, I think, is raconter. He tells a story. Il raconte une histoire. Il raconte une histoire. Yeah, I got it. Was I very confident about it? No. I'm gonna still put that under maybe. Here's another one. Shrimp. I would like 4 slices of tuna and 300 grams of shrimp. I have no idea. I wrote this flashcard a couple of days ago. I have no idea what shrimp is in French. I totally forgot. Well, that's the point of flashcards, is you're testing yourself. So now I look at it. La crevette. Je voudrais 4 tranches de thon et 300 grammes de crevettes. Huh. Guess I got to study that one. So I'm going to put that under no. Ones that are under no are the ones that I really need to keep studying today and sooner rather than later because I'm not going to remember it. Okay, next word, world, in the whole world. So it's le monde, or is it le monde? I'm not sure about the pronunciation there. Dans le monde entier. Le monde, dans le monde entier, in the whole world. So this one, I have a question about pronunciation. I'm not sure if it's le monde or le monde. and that matters. So I need to ask my French teacher. So I'm going to put that under the question here to ask him when I see him next week. So I will go through this whole stack, not here on video, but I'll go through the whole stack and I'll put them under question, no, maybe, or yes. So I'll do that right now. I'll pause the video so you don't have to watch me study. Okay, I just went through this entire stack. You can see that there's a lot more cards here under each pile. So what do I do with them now? Well, all the ones that I knew 100% today, I don't need to see again very soon. So I'm going to put them into my big box called the first day of the month. That's why this box is so big, because I can put a lot of cards in it. It's already about half full because every Wednesday and every Saturday as I'm studying, I put new cards in the box. And then on the first day of every month, I go through this entire stack. I make myself a good cup of tea and I sit at my window and look at my garden and go nice and slowly through the words. It's very relaxing. It's a fun way to study. Right, the ones that were under maybe, I need to see again, not in a whole month, but in a week. They're ones that I pretty much knew, but I wasn't 100% confident about, or I made a small mistake about. So all of these, I need to see next week. So today's Saturday, which means I need to see them next Saturday. So I will put them into my Saturday box. So these cards that I maybe knew, that I pretty much knew, I will see again in 1 week. The no cards, I didn't know at all today, or it took me way too long to think about the words. So luckily, I only had 3 words there. Yay. So what I would do right now is go through these 3 words again to make sure that I know them. So again, not on video, but I'm going to go through these again and again and again today so that I can make sure that I actually know them. And then after, like, I got them in my head today, just because I know them today doesn't mean I'm going to know them tomorrow. But I'm not going to actually study them tomorrow because that's a little bit too much studying. Again, I only study flashcards on Wednesdays and Saturdays. So I'm going to put these into my Wednesday box, because Wednesday is only 3 days from now. So I studied them a lot today, or I will study them a lot today. And once I really know them, then I'll put them into my Wednesday box. And so then I will see them again on Wednesday. Last, I've got these question mark ones. So I made these 3 cards and I have some questions about them. So this one, I have a question about pronunciation. So I need to ask my teacher about that. This one is another pronunciation question. And this one, I think I wrote the grammar incorrectly on it. And I want to just double check. So I actually don't think I even need to ask my teacher about this last one. I think I can double check in my book because I think I just made a mistake when I was copying the card. So I need to double check that one before I put it back into my Wednesday box. So today's Saturday. I just went through all of my cards. What do I do tomorrow? Well, tomorrow I keep studying French. Now, I don't need to study flashcards every day, or I don't want to at least, but I'll make new flashcards. So I'll go through my French book. I'll spend 10 minutes, 20 minutes studying. And if I find a word I don't know, I'll write it onto a new flashcard and I'll put it into my Wednesday box. On Monday, I'll do the same thing. I'll read another page or 2. I'll make 2 or 3 more flashcards and I'll put them into my Wednesday box. Same thing on Tuesday. Maybe I only have time to read half a page and maybe I only write 1 flashcard. That's fine. I'll put it into my Wednesday box. So then on Wednesday, I'll go through my box and I'll have those new cards that I will have made on Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, but also all the words that I saw today that I wasn't sure about, and all the words that I saw last Wednesday that I thought I knew. So I'm constantly testing myself and constantly refreshing my memory to see, do I really know these words? And one thing that I really like about this setup with all of my cards is it all fits into this box. So I put all of my blank index cards, all of my blank flashcards into the box. And then I put my Wednesday box in and my Saturday box in, and the pen that I use to write flashcards, and then the lid. And then it all fits together, and this just sits next to or sits on top of my textbook. So when I'm ready to study French, I just grab my textbook and grab the box of cards, and I'm ready to go. One of the reasons why I love this practice of writing flashcards, where you write the word and you write a whole sentence, is because you get to use the word in context. And you get to memorize how a word fits into a sentence. So early on, I wrote the word car. It's 20 minutes by car, which I memorized. Voiture, c'est un 20 minutes en voiture. Voiture, I got to work on my French pronunciation. La voiture, c'est un 20 minutes en voiture. Okay, so I memorized this a long time ago, and I put it into my first day of the month to study later box. And I know this. I know this. And what's cool is that last week, my French teacher asked me where I'm from. And I said, oh, I'm from Montana, the state of Montana. And he said, oh, how you live in Oregon now. How far is Montana from Oregon? And I said, oh, I know how to say that. Now my card just said it's 20 minutes by car, but all I had to do was change 20 minutes to 14 hours. So instead of saying it's 20 minutes by car, all I could say was it's 14 hours by car. C'est à 14 heures en voiture. So I had the whole sentence there perfectly memorized, and I could just change out one little part of it. And that's why I really, really like this method, because I don't just memorize la voiture, car. That's it. No. I memorize the word and the word in context, because chances are I'm going to use that word in context later. So in the previous video, I made a card about meeting. I have a meeting at 3:30 p.m. J'ai une réunion à 15h30. Well, I can say I have a meeting at 4 p.m. J'ai une réunion à 16h, right? Like I can just change out the time, but I've got the sentence right there with j'ai une réunion à whatever time I want to say. So if you memorize the whole sentence, it makes it a lot easier when you're trying to actually use the language when you're speaking. All right, I'll leave you there. Happy studying.